Here we
You blew it! You blew it! This man was a bona fide scrub.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Oh, poor you. I'm funny how? I'm funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
stupid.
Happy and warm belated Memorial Day to everyone. It's the Participation Trophy Podcast. I don't know why the fuck I just said that. Has anyone ever actually wished somebody a happy Memorial Day? Like you don't go to the grocery store and leave the cashier and say Happy Memorial Day, like you would Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving. But to be fair, Memorial Day to me still ranks as a top 5 in the holiday power rankings. Wednesday, and you're listening. You're lucky to even be hearing our voices tonight. We were gonna call the night off and didn't even record.
Listen, we were close.
We made premature plans to record tomorrow night under a very strong assumption that the Wizards were going to get swept. Silly us. All that shit talking about Scott Brooks, and he gets the last laugh on us. So he also lives to survive another day as a mental sports employee. Joel Embiid getting injured. Rui Hachimura has the game of his life. The Wizards win, avoided elimination. They'll be playing Game 5 in Philly tomorrow night. We are recording tonight. Our attempt at rescheduling failed. Why do we want to reschedule? Listen, right? And by we, I'm talking about the two fucking 40-year-olds on the show, right? Me and Jamal. Just one fucking post-COVID Memorial Day weekend, and the two of us were the first ones. We need an extra day, and for totally opposite reasons, which I'll get into a little bit later. But we'll start with Jamal. Listen, I told you Memorial Day weekend ranks in the top 5 in holiday rankings, and so much that Jamal waited for this weekend to celebrate his official post-COVID breakout party.
I did, yeah.
By the looks of your leaked Instagram post, this party involved you fisting 2 bottles of alcohol, dark and clear. Yeah. You got all the homies over. And you got a fucking farm of chickens grilling outside. You got to take us through this Memorial Day weekend escapade.
Man, so I didn't host, by the way. I was at my boy Steve's house. Shout out to Steve. He's a listener. Frequent Redskins, Washington football team ranter and, football extraordinary guy. But anyway, we have been talking about this since, we've been talking about this for months, basically. And
it looked like it.
The plan was in 2 phases. You get vaccinated, you can come and party, and we can have a grand reopening of what he had been building. He's got a bar in his basement. He's been buying. He's got the smoker. He bought a brand new grill, which he calls the Beast, affectionately. And he's been and when I say he's building out his bar, like we call it Jeff's Bar and Grill, right? Jeff's like a nickname. And he even made up like Drake menus. Like we took this shit to the extreme, and he's been dying. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, this is all stuff that he had been planning to do, since like last year. Obviously, COVID hit.
This is like one of your fantasy football drafts. Like y'all go in.
We go in. Exactly. So we've been building this out for months, and the plan was like, look, vaccines are available. Get a shot to come get some shots. You know what I mean? Like we had a whole fucking campaign, and a few of us. I mean. Steve, he's a State Department contractor. He got his shot really early, and then others follow. Guys that still have to go into the office, and then finally, I think when we had one straggler, he finally got his shots, and we were like, "Cool, we locked in." So that was phase 1. So just getting the planning in place for us was phase 1.
Yeah,
and we, 40 plus dudes, we know the deal. Phase 2 was convincing the wife, right? Getting that day pass, assuring the wife that it's safe, that everybody's vaccinated, that we're cool, we're going to be responsible, all that stuff.
You got months in advance, good window of time there to actually talk it through. A little pillow talk, a little.
Listen, you got to start selling it, man. It's very important.
Exactly.
Yeah,
real early.
You might have massaged some feet. You might have go get her some cheesecake, some shit like that. We got. Two wives that are pregnant, so that's a little extra hard sell to get, but we made it happen.
Yeah.
It was about, I think, 5 of us there. We hung out. Man, Steve's got his whole basement decked out with like sports shit and like TVs, one big screen TV with 2 mini ones under it. They got the controller so you can, either switch to different screens or put everything on one screen. And it's like shit was like a fucking sports bar. It's like the shit that old heads
Yeah.
like really really live for.
Yeah.
And we had a good time, man. We had some good drink, and we do Zoom happy hour every Thursday. That's something we implemented early on. And it's cool because and I tell people, if you know me, I always talk about things that I don't want to go away after lockdown. We connected so well over Zoom because you think about it, having guys with families and kids trying to coordinate one event.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the fantasy football draft, we
Right.
couldn't really get together. It was too fucking tough.
Yeah.
Got guys in Baltimore County and Charles County and all over the place. So getting together was such a challenge. So we do Zoom, but the fact that we were all able to link up in person was just so fucking dope, man. We had a good time. Everybody was safe, responsible. Now, Steve had to stay in the basement for a little while because his wife with the little kids upstairs was it's a little wary. I mean, she didn't
So
want
they
to touch the food.
stayed at the crib.
Yeah, they
while
just
this
stayed
was all
upstairs.
going-
We were all
Okay,
in the
okay.
basement like a fucking
Yeah.
leper colony, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how that works sometimes because I've had it both ways where I've had folks over,
Mhm.
just dudes and the wife stays upstairs. Other times you feel compelled to say, hey, you probably got to step out and just go do something else, and we've done it both ways. So, but
So you've actually told your wife, hey, you might want to step out.
well, it's kind of like a mutual kind of
Okay.
thought that we both have, where
Sure,
she's kind
sure.
of like, yeah, you're gonna have quite a bit of people over, and
Yeah.
you're probably gonna be coming upstairs, downstairs as food because we have the kitchen upstairs, so there's not really much to
Yeah.
really unless we have a spread out here, but people are gonna
Yeah.
go upstairs every now and then, and so it's kind of like a mutual decision where it's like, I kind of feel like maybe I should initiate that whole
Yeah.
discussion, and so, but like I said, I've had it both ways, but it is a little awkward when you got the wife sitting upstairs and just kind of like clenching your ass cheeks a little bit, like making sure like nothing weird or stupid happens.
They're like afraid to get up and go to the bathroom. You might hear some crazy shit like.
Upstairs, yeah. We do.
But look,
like,
when I had the pool stick, like I stuck it in her ass. I was 24. I didn't know what the fuck I was, shit like that. Like, nah, it won't happen.
Oh man. But I think one thing that probably helped your party a lot was you said you guys kept in touch on Zoom a lot, and so you saw each other's faces, a lot of interaction throughout the pandemic. That awkwardness of reuniting and, and reconvening with people after months of not seeing them, not having any social interaction.
Yeah,
obviously no physical interaction, but not a lot of people really interact with one another either face to face, whether it be on Zoom or not.
Yeah. No, we're all spun up on everything. We talk every week. We have Zoom happy hour every Thursday at like 5:00, 5:30. Didn't get everybody to come out. I know, guys, a couple guys still have some stuff going on, but hopefully we're getting back to normal as far as just kind of linking up. I didn't realize how much I miss my boys. You know what I mean? You don't realize how much just getting drunk and running through the same 5 stories that I've been telling since you were like 12 years old. Like how much that shit means to you. You know what I mean?
Nostalgia.
So I was happy to hang out for real.
Yeah, I mean, Memorial Day to me is always a cause for a very involved party or vacation plans or what have you. It's like one of those, you consider it a Hallmark holiday because it's not really something, nothing really is used as a day for memorial of the troops and the military and the country in general. But people use that day so much, and you can see what about it, the timing of it during the calendar year, like it's right in the middle of the year. And the weather's warming up, and when you look at it, typically between January and May is probably the busiest stretch of the year, right? And so Memorial Day comes around mid-May. People are taking mini vacations. At the very least, if you're not doing a barbecue or a cookout, you're having a picnic on your front lawn, eating a bag of fritters or some shit, right? Like just something out of the norm.
You're doing something. You don't want to be
right.
That's kind of it's the summer kickoff. You don't want to be left doing nothing. Right. Like, you don't want to be that motherfucker watching the A&E marathon or some shit. You want to say that you did something. But yeah. I look forward to it all the time. Kids were fucking geek because school's winding down for them. They don't really have much else to do at this point. They finished their standard testing. So it was chill. It was chill.
One thing that hasn't happened this year that usually does is pools also come open
right
on Memorial Day, which is kind of like the real like milestone for okay, it's fucking getting warm, it's getting hot out here, we're about to have some fun.
The unofficial start of summer.
Tracy Morgan actually has a PSA about pools opening up on Memorial Day. Let's listen in real quick.
Doberman Pinchin.
One person who Memorial Day weekend brought out the best of was Tracy Morgan on that DJ Who Kid mixtape.
One of the best. Oh, I listened to that.
I know,
to death, man. I wore that shit out.
Oh man, and that was what, like 15 years ago. I mean, that performance, and it's just him in the studio just popping off jokes.
Just fucking riffing, man.
Right? That crazy mic shit. I got a
little Boricua doodle in the pool. Zeus. You fucking probably holding the baby.
Yo, that shit was fire, man. And
Classic shit, man.
Speaking of babies, that was really the reason why, like, I partook in no major Memorial Day events. There's like, for a parent, there's no type of regret that compares to the regret of leaving the house for anything with an infant, right? Like whether it's the grocery store or whatever. So we kept our plans basic and pretty tight. Not to say it didn't turn into an adventure. The highlight of my weekend was actually my lost battle with karma. So I skin tight shaven bald daughter 1 week. The next week, so it's only right that by the third week, the hairless gods had me suffering from a self-inflicted barber accident, keeping the wrong guard on the clippers.
Leave it off. Leave the hat off.
Just mowing.
Come on, bro.
Just absolutely mowing.
Look at that. Look at the twins. Look at the black and brown guys.
Yeah. My eyes are burning.
Yeah, just absolutely mow down the front end of my hair.
Take it off. Put back on. Carlton, you put your clothes on this instant.
Great scene.
You know, listen. The funny thing about this is that this blunder, I swear, I think happened simultaneous to your party, Jamal, and it makes me think about the potential scene in the movie where the two events are happening in the back and forth sequence, right? Like there's a scene keeps switching from you drinking, eating, and having fun to me like shaving my head and sobbing uncontrollably, right? No matter what the fucking context is.
All right, put this shit back on. You got like the Rip Hamilton shape. Go ahead. Yeah, you put that back on.
The Rip Hamilton shape. Yeah, we were heartbroken when the braids came off.
Oh boy, motherfucker got a big like a water head, man, like the Hydra's Tefla shit.
So yeah, here I am, hairless. Still always good times. Zane, you're a troop lover. Did you rewatch the Johnny Sins military?
Johnny Sins troop lover me.
Military scene on Brazzers.
No, there's so many though. Like you're acting like there's only one.
Man, shout out to Barry McCockner, man. That tweet he put out that duped Tommy Loren into thinking
I gotta find that
Johnny Sins was an actual
And also, it also bothered me because I really wanted her to know who Johnny Sins was, so I didn't really want that moment. But unfortunately, it was worth it. It was fucking worth it.
No, so besides pulling off for you, Memorial Day.
Can you please give a shout out to my cousin John, who is currently serving overseas? It would mean the world.
Yep, she definitely retweeted that shit too.
It's so good.
Probably one of my favorite conservative cell phoneage moments. It ranks up there. I don't know if it's Mount Rushmore cell phoneage, but
it's in the fall for a lot. There's a guy named Ken Klepperstein. He works for The Intercept online publication.
Yeah.
He found a Marine picture of Lee Harvey Oswald and asked some conservative. I think he tagged somebody. So like, can you tweet this? For, my uncle from Memorial Day. Like, he'd really appreciate it. God bless the troops. And then fucking Matt Gaetz retweeted it, and
Oh my God.
I think like Kevin McCarthy retweeted it. And then Candace Owens caught wind of it and swore that the guy photoshopped Lee Harvey's face into the Marine uniform. But the same picture's on Lee Harvey Oswald's Wikipedia page. So
okay,
she got embarrassed and deleted all her shit too.
Oh boy.
Just bad looks all around. Just yeah.
You had to bring up Candace Owens.
You
fucking had to do it.
That
You
gets you
ever meet
going?
someone who like Candace Owens' name comes up and they're like, she's so smart, and you're just like, fuck.
That's happened to me,
I've never
dude.
met
It's
her.
happened to me.
You gotta fucking be kidding. And like it's
Has
like
it?
people that are actually like who I find to be somewhat intelligent or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. And then when they say that shit, I'm just like,
It's
you
very
gotta be fucking
disappointing.
kidding. It's so
It's only
disappointing.
happened once for me, but
It's happened.
I had a guy say she was hot, and I'm like, word?
Yeah.
But he wasn't black, so I said, okay, all right.
You ever read the comments on her videos?
No.
She's such a beautiful black woman. I would love to have it's like
Oh Jesus.
it's like, come on, dude.
I've honestly
I have
never
to make
met
this
these
into
kind of people
conservative
like-
chat, but the male equivalent of Candace Owens is this guy named Officer Tatum. Have you ever seen him?
Officer Tatum.
Black guy, retired cop who defends the police in every single action they do. It's just great. Hates
Oh,
BLM.
Brandon
Like,
Tatum,
one of-
yes, I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's,
I've-
he's,
I've
he's a
seen
younger
this fuck.
cat. I've seen him.
I've seen this fuck.
Terrible
Oh yeah,
piece
he's a
of
clown.
shit.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
I thought you were talking about like the David Officer Clark. That dude's he's like the older.
Oh yeah, the motherfucker with that push broom mustache. And shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
They
Lord.
did this
my
like
goodness.
analysis of like his pins on his uniform, and they said half of them didn't mean shit. He had like fucking Applebee's flair on his shit.
We need more flair.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh,
What was that?
side note, unrelated. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Just put that
Deserved.
out there. I got my shirt for a reason. We are an inclusive podcast, so just wanted to
I
shout
think you
that
said
out.
Happy
Absolutely.
Prime Month, like we're about to get rebilled this fucking month for Amazon Prime. I was like, oh, shit. I gotta do some accounting.
All right, let's wrap this Memorial Day shit up. Neil, I honestly didn't know what to expect from your Memorial Day weekend story. Probably some fucking family road trip to Rhode Island to visit a great uncle.
Trip to Rhode Island.
That's not even blood.
No,
Some
for
shit,
real.
you know?
Neil goes on a
to
family road trip
Nassau.
every weekend. Every weekend.
Yeah.
Not this weekend because the good old Wizards kept me in town and were occupying much of my weekend. But the day before Memorial Day, I got in my first 18 holes of golf that I've ever played. So
Oh, cool.
that was fun.
Nice.
Definitely. It was brutal
pick up-
though because it was raining a little bit. Even though it wasn't raining, the course was wet. So they didn't let us take carts. So I had to fucking walk the whole 18
that
holes. Oh
sucks.
my
That
Lord.
sucks.
But definitely a fun hobby I'm trying to pick up.
I tried to. I played my first 18 holes. Actually, I didn't play the full because I left in the middle of the tournament. It was a work tournament. Stunk it up real bad.
Mm.
Right.
I was fucking terrible. I was so embarrassed. So
Yeah.
embarrassed. So this shit's probably the hardest game ever. Straight up.
Facts.
So my wife and her friends last year for Father's Day got us a voucher for lessons at the range,
Okay.
and it was a great time, and I learned so much. And I was like, man, next time I go to Top Golf, I'm gonna fuck shit up when I go. You see me at Top Golf because I had the whole, the whole. I can't even name the terms or anything, right? But
Yeah.
swing and all that shit down, and I've never gone back to a course or a range since. And it bothers the shit out of me.
It humbles the fuck out of you, bro.
I felt so confident. I felt like, all right, I'm gonna do this every weekend. I'm gonna
Mhm.
hit the course next week. When I hit 18 holes, all that shit, the whole shebang, and never hit the course ever again. So
So basically, what you're saying is
Definitely.
we're doing a podcast
doing-
outing
yes, sir.
with all equally terrible guys, so we don't feel
Yes.
down on ourselves for how poorly we do.
Yes.
Sounds like
Yeah,
a plan.
Bring the fucking Bengay, man.
Yeah.
But that sounds exciting, Neil. You actually ended up having one of the more exciting Memorial Day holidays than all of us. We're going to talk about it more in Open Gym. So yeah, Neil's Memorial Day was pretty eventful. For one, the Wizards gave you a holiday treat of extended media coverage for at least one more game. Work from home coverage. Obviously, they're going to be in Philly tomorrow night. But another fucking fan and I'm striking Capital One Arena. a fan storms onto the court. It looks like he's running back and forth on the floor, right, doing a bunch of suicides or some shit, and then leaps for the rim. To which point, the security guard just levels him on the ground, like straight up Mike Jones, Kevin Dyson style, Super Bowl 36 and shit. In front of Ron Rivera, ironically. You were at the scene.
Game?
Yeah. He was at game. He was at both home. He was at
He was
another
at
home
both,
game
but
too.
he was at another home game previously this season as well.
Yeah. So you were at the you were at the scene last night. What was that like?
Yeah, so in seemingly a recurring theme of crazy ass fans doing stupid ass shit in recent NBA games. This time we have not any projectiles at any fans, but dude just sprints out onto the court. And anybody who's been to Capital One Arena knows that you have all those lower bowl sections. In theory, that walkway goes all the way right to the court. And so this dude, he just sprinted down the stairs. They have courtside seats again. He was in a courtside seat. He sprinted down the whole section.
He came from like the 200 section almost, right?
No,
well, maybe like the upper, like the 1-7 upper kind of row.
Right.
X or
sprinted
Y.
down the entire 100 section.
Yeah.
And then just, initially he was looking like he was running towards the 76ers bench, but then he took a little right-hand turn and tried to test out his terrible vert because he tried to be like, oh, I can slap the backboard. Oh my gosh, look at me. And then boom, security dude spears him right to the ground. And Dwight Howard comes over. I want to know what Dwight said. And he probably was like, you stupid motherfucker. What are you doing? What did you think?
But if you notice that security guard, you see his court vision though? Like as soon as he noticed the fan was on the floor, like you just see it because he was just standing still.
Yeah.
As soon as you could feel when the eye contact hit on the fan, and he just darted right for him. Just got a clean angle for that tackle in midair.
Right in front of Ron Rivera, form tackle, Washington football team. Here he comes.
Yeah, but we'll come back to the Wizards in a second. But what the fuck is up with these fans? I mean, this is the third or fourth fifth incident.
We've had popcorn, water bottle, spit
in a week.
This fan, and what am I missing?
I think that's it.
I know John Morant was complaining about his family had to hear a lot of vulgarity, but I think that happens pretty much.
These fans are almost like mass shooters, just inspiring one another, right? Like, it's just like these motherfuckers seeing this shit.
It really fucks up the narrative that the NBA has the most inclusive kind of level-headed fans. I mean, that whole thing's been turned upside down. Who's the wing player for Memphis?
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, he got some shit thrown at him, like a half-breed type of comment.
Yeah.
Because he's biracial. Just really, shit you expect to hear, frankly, in other types of sports and venues. I don't know. There's no rationale for it. I mean, I've made a joke that, people, are getting used to being outside again. That's some dumb shit. You don't have to get used to being outside. You don't have to get used to being at a sporting event. I don't get it.
At the same time, these people, they've been cooped up for a year and a half. Like, they are just going loony and like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, but I mean, come on, man. This is
I absolutely
incredible.
agree with you. And,
I wouldn't do that shit at a high school game.
Yeah, and it will pain me to say I agreed with Scott Brooks. Gave a very impassioned speech about what the fuck are these people doing? None of your parents raised y'all to do this kind of tomfoolery crap. Like, this is dumb, but I don't know. I don't really know what NBA can really do about it besides just like beating the shit up out of security. So
I mean, it looks like they're hitting people. The Cole Beasley, which is still funny to me. He got an assault and battery charge, right? I mean, you have to. I mean, they're doing as much as they can.
I thought that shit. Yeah, that shit was low.
You don't think it'll stick?
Facing 10 years.
Like that's crazy.
Oh, I didn't know about assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah, they said 10 years. Maybe it was a fake me out.
Facing 10 years, that's dumb as fuck. I don't know.
I mean, it'll be it'll vary by jurisdiction, but I mean, I don't know. This is some college shit.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, man. Like the era is also like where we are now versus where we were, say, when the Malice in the Palace happened, right? The Malice in the Palace was if that happened today, right? Can you imagine the social media reaction to
Oh my god.
that shit, the 28 different camera angles,
Yeah.
looking at Jermaine
Yeah.
O'Neal fucking slide punching a fucking fan.
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal will be getting out of jail next week if that shit hit social media in 2004. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
So I think
17
that
years later.
I've always said that social media has been like a driver of influence on and offline, right? And it's just you see the pushback, you see the reactions to certain things, and I think it makes even up, law enforcement and courthouses to make decisions just based on kind of the reaction to certain things, and the culture's changed too. So to face 10 years for a water bottle that's being considered as assault with a deadly weapon, what the fuck would a cup of beer that fell on Ron Artest's chest been considered? Like a hand grenade? Like what the fuck? Like
weapons of mass destruction.
Right. But again, I don't want to take the story away from the fact that fans are being fucking stupid.
Right.
I think to be fair, some of the incidents that have been in some of the more historically infamous sports towns,
Sure.
Boston, Philly, New York.
I don't think you include DC in it though.
But DC was a different incident. It wasn't even an attack on a player. It was just a dude being stupid. That shit was probably a dare. Like, yo, I dare you. I'll give you $20 to run.
No, and
those situations aren't even remote. Yeah.
Dude was also wearing a weed shirt. Like the back of his yellow shirt was a weed plant and a bong. And I was like, all right, I want to know what that guy was smoking to make him think that he should go and do that.
Been all point guards too, hasn't it? Point guard related crime.
There's certainly no isolated incidents. Yeah. And if it's all point guards, I mean, Washington would have been like, that would have been paradise for one of these fans, because Scott Brooks charts out 3 of them all at one time on the floor. So.
Buy one, get 2 free.
Yeah, there you go, man. But back to the Wizards real quick. So they pull it off last night in unorthodox, little unconventional style. Some unsung heroes. Due to my complete loss of faith in the Wizards actually accomplishing anything out of this playoff run, and it's not hate, it's just me protecting my state of emotions. I tend to watch some of these games almost like preseason games where you're just kind of scouting individual performances, trying to see, who's coming back, what can they do for, the broader outlook of the team. And remember, I mentioned those X factors, right? Those guys that don't usually step up but need to step up at the right time. And Jamal, last night the Wizards found that guy, and it happened to be your guy. You've been a Rui guy, a Rui fan, a Rui apologist. He doesn't come through. The Wizards probably don't win. Bottom line.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So Rui, yeah. Well, I mentioned last week, when I picked my sleepers for, what was that, game 3? I thought Rui was poised for a breakout. Yeah. Well, game 2, poised for a breakout game at that point, just based on the way the defense is playing out for Philly. Right. So I was late on that. He came through in a different game. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about 20 points on 8 for 12 from the floor, including, that clutch 3 from the corner. Rui had the emotion.
3 of 6 from 3 in the game. And so for the series, he's a whopping 8 for 12 from deep so far through 4 games.
Hey, man, look, we have something here. He needed a big game for his confidence to do that in front of the home team. I mean, the home crowd.
Yes.
He just looked like a different guy. I mean, he had a lot of passion, a lot of everything to his game. I think Neil, maybe you were the one that mentioned, or I saw it somewhere, that after game 3, he didn't talk to the press at all. He just kind of disappeared off the floor.
Yeah, like people make a big deal about it if they want, but I don't know, there wasn't really much of a need for him to talk after game 3. I think, the couple of the beat writers put in the request, and then they like to make it known that, oh, this guy didn't do this, but whatever. Okay. I always feel bad for the guy. Dude has to always do English availability and then answer the same exact questions in Japanese every single time.
Wow. All right. So it steps on my narrative a little bit. I was saying maybe he felt slighted, so he wanted to come back and do well this last game. It could be part of it, you know what I mean? But
sounds
again,
sounds cool.
He needed that game. He needed that game.
He needed the storyline. He got his first technical foul, which of course I thought was a weak ass call by Kane Fitzgerald, who leads NBA officials now with 9 technical fouls called through the NBA playoffs. Man, he had a monster ass dunk on Tobias Harris, and he yelled. And you're gonna tee him up for that when Joel Embiid is literally air humping,
taunting.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Neil, 100%. but I knew as soon as Rui started to walk back toward, because he was backpedaling, he stopped
Right. And then,
went back forward. And as soon as he did that, as soon as he stopped, I said, "Oh, he's gonna do then one more move and he's gonna tee."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. But Rui, like I said, I try to focus on individual players and how they show up in certain moments. For Rui, you can say what you want about the series, it's going nowhere, and Rui is not the savior of this team. But for Rui to step up in that situation in a playoff game, facing elimination, facing embarrassment, to come through when your star point guard is shooting what? 3 for fucking 14, 15. I don't know.
For 19.
3 for 19.
But
Russell
intensity.
Westbrook,
But intensity. But triple double.
Absolutely. The most ridiculous Russell Westbrook box score of the game has 19 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, 3 of 19 shooting from the field, 13 of 16 shooting from the free throw line. Like just absolute bonkers. Russell.
Yeah, nobody else can do that.
It's a 2K stat line. It really is. Like that's my game on 2K. Like just probably not the 21 rebounds, but I'm having somewhat of I still end up with a B plus, missing 15 shots, right? Like
that's your my career when you're a 65 overall, and you're like, I gotta get some shit on the board.
Shit, like, you got no VC to fucking up your ratings, so you just. Zane, I heard your voice, man.
On a Wizards topic?
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, give me one striking takeaway from this game or this series.
The Wizards offense is absolutely disgusting when the other team knows what they're going to do. I mean, that fourth quarter, that I feel like they just got lucky. They had 7 or 8 possessions in a row where it was just one guy coming up and just trying to drive into the paint and draw a foul, but with no plan. And Philly knew it was coming. They weren't getting the calls. And then on defense, so many offensive rebounds they were giving up. Nobody was boxing out. I don't take anything away from this game. I mean, obviously, Rui showed some intensity. It's just, I feel like I've seen this story before. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think how they come out next game, it's still going to be important. If they can at least compete and keep it a close game in the fourth, win or lose, that's going to show a little bit of something. But I also don't want it to be some sort of thing going forward where you feel like you can trot this team out next year with the coaching staff the way it is. And
No way.
I'm all about. I would rather they lost 4 games by 100 points just so some shit changes than any of this. So that's my view on it. But I mean,
no, I totally agree. It's almost like a moral victory, even though it's a real victory. It's like a moral victory for certain.
It's a moral
people.
victory,
right. So going into Game 5, speaking of which, no Embiid. We're looking at a doubtful status for Embiid. Bertans is out, so we're effectively going into the next game the way Game 4 ended, right? So obviously no Embiid, Bertans is out. Yeah. It's going to be another situation where guys got to step up. Who's it going to be this time? Can Rui feed off of his Game 4 performance and kind of have that firepower going on the road? Who's going to, Ish Smith has had some good moments. What do you guys think? I mean, elimination game, you know where I'm going with this. I think the Wizards are done. I thought they were done last game. They should be done.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. I think they're done also, unfortunately, but I think it'll look more like Game 1 than games, 2 and 3. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think by default, Russ has to shoot better. I think Brad will do pretty well.
Right.
I feel like, and I hope this doesn't happen, but Rui's a good candidate for getting too excited and getting in foul trouble early, which would fuck a lot of shit up because we need as many, kind of wings, or he's not exactly a wing, but somebody who can face the basket and play.
Not as many. Yeah. He's essentially the only defensive.
Well, yeah, at this point he is. Yeah, there's
team.
Nobody left unless you want to put some faith in Anthony Gill. So yeah, sadly, I think it ends tomorrow night. I predicted a gentleman's sweep. I thought it'd be 4-1. Obviously, didn't know where the 1 would come from. I thought they would get one of the 2 home games, but Doc's a Hall of Fame coach. He's going to figure some shit out to compensate for Embiid. Probably get the ball out of Ben Simmons' hands so he doesn't shoot 25% for another straight game. But yeah, I think it ends tomorrow night, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I would be okay with that. Make some more plans for myself for my weekend, but
Selfish son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Essentially, if Philly was healthy, so Embiid, he had a hard fall early in the first quarter that knocked him out. That then it said, I guess he tweaked his right knee, had some soreness there. They're pulling him out for precautionary reasons. If he's unable to go, the Wizards' chances of winning in a 100% full capacity Philadelphia arena for Game 5 goes probably from, I don't know, 5 to 10%.
Is it going to be 100% capacity?
It is going to be 100%. These people don't care anymore. But
America, we back.
Yeah, for real.
Their likelihood of winning, with an Embiid playing is like 5 to 10% on the road. Now it probably goes up to what, a decent bettor's chance. Maybe they have a 33% chance of winning, in the tough environments. And then, you never know what happens. But obviously Bertans being out, right calf strain, same injury that knocked him out earlier in the season. As much as hit or miss as he's been, and it's been a lot more miss than hit this season, he does space out the floor better than anybody else on the Wizards team can. Like Raul Neto is not a high volume 3-point shooter. Brad, for whatever reasons, has not been a great 3-point shooter this season. Right. And with Bertans not out there, they're going to clog up the paint with 4 guys every chance they get.
Yeah.
They're going to be okay with Raul Neto or Ish Smith or Rui. Rui's been making them pay, but not to the volume that they really care about if they're going to be able to shut down Russ and Brad getting into the paint. So it'll be difficult, and most likely the series will end and season will end, but you never know.
Zane?
It's a tough one. Obviously, I want to easily say the 76ers will win. I'm not super high on the Sixers in general.
Wow.
And without Embiid, it's tough. It's just the Wizards has 7 players in double figures the other night or last night, or when you listened to this 2 nights ago. And also big shout out to Gafford. I thought he was really one of the driving forces in the fourth quarter for the comeback.
Yeah.
I think he had 5 blocks.
Right? 4 or 5, 5 blocks.
Yeah, 5 blocks, and he had that putback dunk, which
dunk was nasty.
So good.
And you could just saw him soar up into the air as the
time that
ball
shit
rimmed up. Oh my lord!
Well, there was another one too. He got the pass from Westbrook and he bobbled it. He did a 360 spin move.
Right.
It wasn't
went up,
pass.
almost got blocked, and repositioned his hands on the ball for the dunk, which was very impressive. Neil, I'd like to know. He got 26 minutes. Last night.
Here's the interesting thing about Gafford going into Game 5. Without Embiid, Gafford is less prone to getting into foul trouble, which means he's on the floor a lot longer, which means he's more of a force on the floor a lot longer. So I don't know how that's going to pan out, over the entire landscape of the game, but having Gafford on the floor a lot more than he has been beneficial for the Wizards. So
it'll be a very interesting dynamic
thing to keep in mind. Yeah.
In Game 4, Gafford did get his first start. Scott Brooks finally, parted ways with Alex Len for the most part, and said, "Okay, Gafford, you're starting." Gafford picked up 2 fouls. Yeah, I know, but Gafford picked up 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes, and he had to sit. Alex Len then goes and picks up 2 fouls in the next minute in the case of, you thought that was good? I'll hold my beer. Robin Lopez, the hook shot master, of course, wildly saved the day with 7 of 8 shooting in the first half. But like you said, Zane, Gafford is their best center on both ends of the floor because he gives them a lob threat that is super high efficient, at the rim. And he also just gives them super length and bounciness on defensive end that can't be matched. So I think it would be great if he can, get 30 plus minutes against an Embiid-less Sixers in Game 5, because against Dwight Howard, against Mike Scott at the small ball 5, they even had Ben Simmons matched up with him, late in Game 4. Gafford can win those matchups, and that's obviously, a big difference when you're taking away a potential MVP candidate.
Right. Yeah. So with that in mind, Philly by 20. No, I was gonna say the Wizards pulling crazy miracle out, but like Neil said, without Bertans, they're gonna be able to just sit in the paint. So barring a otherworldly performance by Beal and Westbrook shooting like 60-70%, which is possible, I'm gonna go Philly.
Yeah. I was gonna say the team has to shoot around 65% for them to win.
Yeah. And
Philly a 6.5 point favorite right now. So far, the Wizards have covered the spread in 2 games, so they're 2-2 against the line right now. We'll see what they do in Game 5. If they can cover that 6-point underdog.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a Seth Curry game. I think that Seth Curry game or the Maxey game. Maxey was balling out too, man.
Max is balling, man.
You got
Damn. LA down by 30.
Yeah. I was
No,
gonna say,
seriously?
Anybody see
No
this,
Anthony Davis.
66-36.
Yeah. I
At
got
halftime.
Yeah.
7 minutes into the second quarter, and the Lakers only had 2 points in that quarter.
Oh my God. Yeah, LeBron's
Oh, Twitter's gonna be delicious tonight.
I love it.
Delicious.
I love it. So yeah, speaking of which, we're gonna go ahead and go around the rest of the NBA playoffs and hand out some participation trophies. First one goes to Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics, who just got eliminated tonight. Shout out to Tatum though, man. I consider him one of my 3 NBA sons. Tatum, Kyle Kuzma, Kelly Oubre. Just dashingly handsome young ballers.
Strong hairlines. Strong hairlines.
Strong hairlines. Those are my sons, man. So,
yeah.
So Jason.
Does Miriam have to do work?
They are.
But yeah,
Shaped it is.
But yeah, Tatum show improving so much as a player, almost looking a little Kobe-esque at times, but clearly it hasn't been enough. The Nets have been balling on him all series. They balled on him in Game 4, beat him by what, like almost 20, 25 points, beat him by 14 a night. Zane, is Brooklyn winning the East?
You know, it's tough because the next matchup, I'm not a huge believer in the Bucks, but the Bucks is a really tough matchup for the Nets, mostly because they got 3 guys who can play up to a certain level of defense. You got PJ Tucker, you got Giannis, and you got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is
Even Chris
basically
Middleton, decent
Yeah,
defender.
Middleton's no slouch too. He's
even,
good.
Yeah,
slouch,
even Middleton is
Yeah.
solid, but talking Holiday is the best wing defender in the league.
Yeah.
I think hands down. And then you got Giannis, who's just a force of
Mhm.
nature on defense. And then you also got PJ Tucker, who can handle guys, not handle, but he can put up a fight against guys like KD, really get underneath their skin.
Yeah.
And then, like you guys said,
Physical.
Middleton is also there. And they also have a stretch 5. And they're also, here's the thing about the Nets, man. They look good now, and when they're at their peak, they look great, but they're very soft. They're super soft inside. They're not a tough team. They give up a lot of offensive rebounds. And they're mostly a perimeter team.
Right. Their biggest guy is KD on the floor, and because the other guys that they usually trot out with that 3 lineup, the big 3 lineup is Joe Harris and like Shamet.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, obviously they had to get hard, and I get it. I liked the team a little bit more before the trade. I felt like they were more well-rounded, in my opinion.
Jared
When
Allen.
they got rid of Allen. Yeah, Jared Allen is just a fucking monster, and he has some size and strength. So I think the Nets will win the East. Yes, I just think this matchup should be interesting based on the amount of defenders that the Bucks can throw at them, and just the fact that they're a little bit soft inside. So it's gonna be a fun series. I'm looking forward to it. I think the Nets need to be challenged. This series they weren't challenged. I mean, Tatum has been amazing, but it's pretty much him and Marcus Smart.
Yep.
They're relying on Fournier and kind of the offensive rebounding and whatever inside presence they have to kind of get by. But they lost tonight, so it's over.
Jaylen Brown being hurt really took away from that series potentially entertaining.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
No, but just there's so much left to see with some of these young guys, and we'll get into John Morant, Donovan Mitchell as well a little bit later, right?
John
But like
Morant
these fucking babies out there just balling outrageous.
And I'm glad because I felt
I am
like
too.
before.
Yeah.
I felt like before I was like, who's gonna,
Who's gonna be
there's no KD, there's no Harden,
Right,
there's no,
right.
but there's a lot of guys that are just
so
fun
much, so
and
out
different.
There, yeah.
And
Trae Young, we'll talk about him too. So, the next trophy goes to Anthony Davis. When he goes down, the Lakers go down. Evidently so, right? Jamal, the Lakers ain't shit without AD.
Oh man, they were riding so high. Remember that game 3 win? I think that was when Braun was like really fucking with like Jay Crowder, like laughing when he was backing him down, and fucking Drummond was imitating Braun. I need to meme that picture, by the way. That shit's fantastic.
Oh, you haven't yet?
I haven't. It's in my my album.
You did. I thought you did meme it. Didn't you put how my fit
the
is?
Throwing Fits podcast meme.
Oh, Throwing Fits did it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Throwing Fits.
Yeah, man. So they were riding high, man. You thought, Lakers, people. Look, a lot of people, let's be real, were predicting an upset of Phoenix, which could still happen, but it doesn't look good right now. But yeah, as soon as AD went down, man, that guy has been fucked up for basically the whole season.
I know.
And he was trying to kind of shrug off those, he's a bubble type guy. I remember the A Disney instead of AD. A Disney was trending like after he stunk it up in game 1. And yeah, I mean, he's gone, and a groin injury too. I mean, that's gonna linger, right?
That hurts.
He's like glass man now. He can't do it. But now AD's gone. I mean, there goes any type of floor space and they may have had. They're gonna roll out Trez and fucking Drummond. Like that's it. That's it. Right?
I mean, it's the wrong round. I think the Lakers. As a LeBron hater, I feel like LeBron is more important to the Lakers, but this round is just not the round that they can afford to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron right now, first half stats, 3 of 10.
Hey,
minus
you
25.
know me. I will find any opportunity to be like, LeBron can't do that. But like, at least with LeBron, they can do the drive and kick. With AD, it's like, okay, but this round is just.
Listen, motherfucker. I'm just waiting for the Lakers to lose this fucking series so we can have our segment next week about the bubble shit last year, that Mickey shit, the fucking Disney.
If the Lakers, LeBron loses, top 5 holiday ahead of Memorial Day.
Yes.
The day after.
Yes. Let's do it.
The day after LeBron loses. Top 5 holiday in the United States.
Hasn't Bron at his age look? He either looks like fucking Bernard King with double knee braces, or he looks like he's 23. I mean,
it's a mix.
The other day his head was at the rim. Like, there's no in between, though. You know what I mean?
No, it's weird. It's so
strange.
He's a specimen. He's always been a specimen. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll keep it going. Next participation trophy, the entire Mavericks franchise, because y'all thought y'all had this shit in the bag going up 2-0 on the road. The Clips come back on the road, get in that ass a little bit, win by 10 in game 3, win by 25 in game 4. Neil, the Clips train, Kawhi and PG at this point just taking over. I mean, taking turns, taking over games. Does the Clip train keep moving?
I think so. I think they have all the momentum. They regain home court advantage. They're going to be rocking in game 5 in LA. They finally figured out, okay, Luka was absolutely tearing up the Clippers' ass in games 1 and 2. Like, he was getting whatever the fuck he wanted and was making them look bad. But, I think Ty Lue made a few adjustments and they realized, look, Dallas got nobody besides Luka.
They don't. They don't.
Hardaway Jr. is okay, but come on, man. Dallas doesn't have anybody.
They played Boban. They threw Boban in there. That shit was the funniest shit I've seen in my fucking life.
I love Boban, too.
I love Boban, but that shit was
first
funny.
Quarter minutes. He was putting in, but I think the Clippers are gonna, they got their shit together finally, and they should be able to walk away from this series. Might still go to 7 games, but I think they'll walk away.
But Luka's hurt. I mean, if Luka was healthy, they could steal another game, but he's hurt.
They're saying he is improving, though. They are saying that he's supposedly improving.
Yeah. But the Clippers are dirty, man. They're some dirty motherfuckers, man. They're gonna. I don't know if you guys remember last year, but they were trying so hard to injure that dude. So hard. They were trying to like stomp on his feet and throw him on the ground and shit. It's gonna be something. Marcus Morris is like, he's already been paid underneath the table to like fucking take a fucking needle and just like shove it in fucking Doncic's back.
Patrick Beverly's like out there removing the.
What it's gonna be like? It's gonna be like the real world. The Chappelle Show scare. The fucking just.
My man got shanked.
I'm bleeding.
I'm bleeding.
I don't even know what I did.
What you looking at?
What you looking at? Tasha, I don't know what you're. Oh man.
The way he slid down that fucking pillar was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my goodness. But listen, the Mavericks situation, I feel so bad. If you're a Mavericks fan, the whole concept was Porzingis and Luka. It reminds me of the Knicks situation with the when Amari shit, right? Like that was supposed to be the next challenger to the Heat and to the other super teams, and Amari just couldn't stay healthy, right? And Melo ended up just kind of trying to do the shit all on his own.
Yeah.
And this is what the situation is in Dallas now. Luka, they brought Porzingis in. I mean, I don't think they knew Luka was going to be as good as he is now when they brought Kristaps in, but obviously they knew something was there. Luka ends up being...
He's stolen so much money over his career.
Yo, so much.
Good Lord, man.
Hey, it's that Latvian connection. Kristaps and Davis Bertans, they getting all the money for Latvia.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it is so, and I've been preaching this for so long. I mean, to me, it makes common sense. It's like, you cannot win in this fucking league if you cannot get easy baskets. And everything the Mavericks do is on the perimeter. They like, Luka's the only person who gets layups, right? And he's got to sacrifice his body to do that. Porzingis scores all of his buckets, 7, 8, 10, fadeaways. Like he's 7'3".
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like the Lakers win because they get fucking layups.
Yeah.
Right.
They get layups after layups after layups. And a lot of these teams are just so stuck on shooting jump shots and they live and die by the three.
Exactly. We'll keep it moving here. We talked about John earlier. That's my other trophy winner. Just playing his ass off, man. The games have been great.
Yep.
But it's a 3-1 series, but it doesn't seem that lopsided if you've actually been watching the games, and I have been. It's that closing factor that is still lacking with John and the team in general. Some of these games have ended in double-digit losses, and they've literally transpired over the last 2-3 minutes of the game. It's been like
Utah
3-4 point games.
Lights out.
They've been shooting lights out.
Insane.
But and Memphis has been keeping up. But at the end of the day, to your point, at the end of the day, it's just too much shooting that Utah has that Ja and the Grizzlies just can't counter with. Ja will hit a long range shot, he'll hit a three. He's more of a driver, a close range shooter. They really don't have any other shooters that can match. And Mike Conley has been fucking lights out. So happy. He's been
And what's the other dude's name? Jordan
Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson. Well, the fact is Utah's bringing 2 6-man of the year finalists off the bench. I mean, how do you fuck with that?
Oh, exactly. How do you fuck with that?
Cash considerations, baby.
Exactly.
Jordan Clarkson looks like a little Reese now, like one of these like Chicago gangsters.
He does.
And now he's just like lights out from fucking three last 2 years.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at it. We mentioned Joe Ingles, right? And he hasn't been scoring a lot, but he's still a great utility guy, just like Royce O'Neal, right? And then you've got your scores. Donovan Mitchell, of course, lights out. Gobert does what he does. And you got Conley, and Bojan Bogdanovic. He's like the third leading scorer. He's almost 19, 20 points a game, right?
Yeah.
So it's been too much.
The Wizards would re-signed him instead of paying Otto.
Motherfucker, the Wizards traded away a first-round draft pick for a rental.
3 months.
Bogdanovic, a 3-month rental of Bojan Bogdanovic, and then for some reason, Scott Brooks decided not to play him in the playoffs anymore.
Don't bring that up.
Cardiovascular issues.
Okay, yeah.
Fatigue. His visa mid-season, his visa got revoked, and he had to go back to Europe.
But definitely the Grizz and Jazz series, the Morant Mitchell duel has been a pleasure to watch. So much more left to see over the course of their careers, and I'm here for it. Finally, the last participation trophy goes to the New York Knicks. Thanks for showing up after so long. Enjoyed your presence. Brought back some fond memories of what the league is like when New York is winning, but of course, all good things come to an end, as will the Knicks. We got no answer for Trae Young, and Julius Randle has no answer for himself. We shouted him out earlier on the podcast. When we talk about the 2K shit, we were so happy for. It looks like he's reverted back to his old 2K self. But the Knicks look like they're pretty much done. They go back to New York, right, for Game 5.
Clint Capella's talking shit. How do you get Clint Capella talking shit? Like you really fucked up, man.
I did like Derrick Rose's response to it though. He was like, "I'm 32-year-old man. I don't got time for this fucking."
Good dude. God, I hope nothing happens at the Garden. But, look, man, Atlanta's good. Atlanta's really fucking good. Those motherfuckers can shoot the lights out.
Right.
They're going to be my team. I plan to follow like going forward after the Wizards get bounced because they are fun to watch. They're the team that they were my favorite bad team to watch over the last couple of seasons. They finally got it together, and they're entertaining, man. And they got some balls in the team.
Absolutely, I agree.
Shout out to Nate McMillan, who I definitely wanted to come in coaching Washington years ago. I'm glad he's doing well too. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that played out pretty well. After
Lloyd Piers.
Yeah.
Lloyd Piers. So it all worked out fine. The Nuggets game, I didn't mention the Nuggets and Blazers, but that's coming down to the wire right now too. I believe 12 seconds left.
That's all right now.
Crazy game because the Nuggets were up big to start the game, but Portland came racing back by the end of the first half. And
is anybody else on here a Dame stan?
Oh, always, definitely.
Who isn't a Dame stan?
Curry fans.
All the Westbrook fans are not.
Just overall fans. As a player, just overall as a
dog.
He's a dog. I mean, I'm just like I openly root for Dame to win every game.
How can you who would root it? Like I don't know. I mean,
it's either being rooting against him or just being indifferent, right? Like not giving a like I actively root for Dame.
Yeah, I don't know who doesn't fuck with Dame.
Yeah.
He's just got that swagger, man. I mean,
so. All right. Well, couple series are over. Couple coming down to the wire. Couple should be over very soon. We'll keep you posted. Shit. But like I said, all good things come to an end in Atlanta. We're gonna switch gears to the NFL because speaking of good things coming to an end, we talked about Julio Jones last week. Obviously leaked out that he wanted out. A lot of people knew it was coming one way or the other, whether the team was going to trade him away, release him, or if he was going to demand to be out. And circulating about him going to Seattle. I haven't really pinpointed where the rumors came from, but Jamal, you got the sauces on this development.
I got as much of a source as you do. Just word of mouth. It kind of popped up in our group chat this morning. Look, Julio said he wanted to play for a winner.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of rumors surrounding Russell Westbrook and how content he was in Seattle. So, perhaps this is a way to keep him satisfied. You line up Julio and DK and who's fucking with that, anywhere else in the league. So,
they still got Tyler Lockett too.
Tyler.
Yeah. It's a good guy.
So my thing is I don't know if just overstacking your wide receiver corp is that important or that significant. Obviously, I've always embraced having a good tandem or a good trio of receivers, right? But I mean, you look at it on paper. You got Julio, you said TJ Lockett, you got Metcalf on the other side. We're playing the slot. Is it too much? Would you rather not invest in other areas of your roster? I've heard Stephon Moore might be on the market or might be open to being traded. Do you want to fill some of your secondary spots? You've really regressed on defense.
Yeah, my thing with Seattle is when are they going to upgrade their run game?
I was just getting to that as well.
I mean, you can load up. I mean, it's always good to have weapons, but
right.
I have not seen them had a good run game in such a long time. I'm wondering how much of a difference it's going to make.
They haven't had a good. Yeah, they haven't had a good run game since Pete Carroll decided to throw the ball at the 2-yard line.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's been a revolving door of just third down backs, right? Like Rashad Penny and
Chris Carson.
Yeah, and Carson's obviously broken out a bit, but I'm not
thrilled about it.
Not crazy about it. I do want to see Seattle jump back into the fold of being a great team that were always fun to watch, especially at home. And I love seeing Russ. Well, you're a Washington football team.
Exactly.
So, and I don't expect you to agree. But I'm a big Julio fan. I want to see him play with an elite quarterback. I want to see him thrive. And
that's my main thing. Yeah.
So I would agree on that front. I would totally agree on that front. And we'll see how it goes. Not much else going on this week outside of that news. And Zane just took off. We're all having some sort of fucking weird ass audio issues this week. But I was gonna circle back with him some MMA shit. Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather coming up this week. Talking about it for
Saturday.
a few
Saturday.
weeks. To Saturday. Obviously, the hype is real. We've seen some of the pre shenanigans and hoopla going on. Jamal, are you trying to are you buying this shit?
Yeah, I'm gonna order it. I'm looking forward to it. This is one of these things where
Steven's crib this weekend.
I don't know if he can swing guess 2 weekends in a row. That might be overkill. Not gonna push it. No, I plan to be here and watch it. You know, we've talked about these, but I wasn't into these types of fights for lack of a better term before.
Yeah.
Kind of reluctantly bought the last one, and I was highly entertained. So I don't know what company's putting this on. If it's Triller or if it's I'm not exactly sure who's.
Yeah,
putting
we
together
talked
this
about
fight.
that last week. I mean, I don't know if the deal with Showtime is
Okay, so if
finalized.
if it's full out entertainment, which to me they should keep the formula going because it's highly successful. But I'm definitely going to be all in on it. I'm gonna like watching Floyd fight Conor McGregor was a little hard to watch because it just didn't look. Like kind of, what I'm saying? It didn't look.
That's how I feel about this one, man. That's how I feel. I just feel like Mayweather's such a fluid, such a textbook fighter, right?
Yeah.
And when you me and Zay have talked about this a lot. When you call a fighter a boring fighter, it's because you're not really understanding, the strategy and what Floyd brings to the table in the ring as a defensive fighter, right? So when you have a non-conventional fighter going up against him like Conor did, it kind of gives you that weird, like, it just doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like you're getting the best out of Mayweather either.
Yeah.
So
Floyd's old, you know what I mean? Like, but I wasn't. Here's the deal. I want to see entertainment. I want to see entertainment. I want to see a pay-per-view event, right?
Yes.
I want to see something of of good production value and something that's going to be obviously the talk of the internet for days, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to order it. I'm looking forward to it. My old ass probably got to take a nap beforehand because I almost didn't make it to the main card of the last fight because I was tired as fuck. But I'm still going to order and watch. So I'm looking forward. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess this has been on my mind for a while because it's like the expectations for Floyd. Like I said, people are always just like, "Oh, Floyd's like it's sad that he's come to this and et cetera, et cetera." But for me, it's like the guy's like the dude's 40, 43, 44.
I thought he was
like,
older than that.
yeah, like he's 45. What is he? He's
wow.
pretty damn old.
I didn't think he was that old.
It's all about the money.
By the way, I like how you go when you Google Floyd
44.
Mayweather on Chrome. The suggest his title comes up as American promoter, like not even boxer anymore.
It does. Yeah. So he's 44 years old.
44.
The dude's been boxing since he was like 6, right? He fought everybody possible. So now that he wants to have some fun, entertain, it's just people are giving him a hard time. So either way, I'm looking forward to it. Like Jamal said, it's entertainment, man. Like we talked about this last week. The Fury Joshua fight got canceled for what, right? And it basically came out that the Fury camp had no intention of fighting Anthony Joshua. Like they could have canceled that rematch clause from Wilder back in December, and they didn't. And they told the Joshua team the whole time, basically, this fight was going to happen. And at the end, they had no intention of it whatsoever. So, like, everybody's just fucking around. Nobody really cares. So, at the end of the day, like, if there's an event that I can chill, hang with my boys, watch Floyd Mayweather fight a fucking YouTuber, I'm with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm just looking for entertainment at this point.
So, that's coming up on Saturday. Logan's brother Jake.
It's actually coming up on Sunday, which is another thing I don't understand.
Really?
It's on
the
Sunday.
Floyd fight on
6
Sunday?
o'clock. Yeah, it's on Sunday, which I don't understand. But I
What
think it's
the
a Super
fuck?
Bowl type thing. It's in Miami, right? So I don't know if this is like a Super Bowl theme type thing where it's Sunday at around 6.
Damn,
I don't
know. What venue is it at in Miami?
It is at, let's see, Mayweather American Promoter first. Where is it at? Hard Rock Stadium.
Okay.
It's at Hard Rock. So is that outdoor?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they got a canopy, but
okay.
It's still open.
Sunday. What the fuck?
Yeah, it threw me off too. I was looking forward to a Saturday night thing.
So on Sunday late afternoon, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, I think it starts.
Okay.
I don't know what the logic is behind that.
Definitely can't do Stevens now.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Gotta get your boy airtime, man, for the
Cut in the kids' bedtime and shit. Yeah. Damn.
All right. So Sunday night at Homeroom, Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Logan's. Did I say Logan or Jake? I'm getting the two fucking white boys mixed up. Has anybody ever how long have you guys been following the Paul brothers? Because I've known Jake and Logan Paul since the Vine days. They blew up on Vine. They were making like these.
I've known Logan since Vine, and then my kids talk about Jake.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of word of mouth through
Jake,
them.
The only Logan Paul I know is the former Washington football team tight end Logan Paul. No, that's Logan Paulson. Damn, I'm fucking up.
I was about to say,
but in your defense, I used to conflate the two as well.
I remember hearing about them, and then I remember the time where it really clicked for me knowing who they were was I think Logan Paul had some incident.
The Japanese suicide.
Is that the forest finding the body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's where he got canceled. That was the end of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, you should definitely watch the Showtime. They have the Showtime like documentary with the Paul and Mayweather following them in their camp and leading up to the fight. Okay. So it's definitely a good watch. I watched the first episode.
Yeah. So Logan's got a fight lined up now too, for August 28th against Tyson Woodley. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't give a shit. I mean, it's like Tyron Woodley. First of all, he's lost like his last 4 or 5 fights decisively. Right. He got knocked out by Covington. He got knocked out by Usman. He got knocked out.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He's going to get trashed left and right.
Oh,
and he's not fighting wise. He's a safe, boring fighter. Like Dana White contemplated like not booking him multiple times because he was boring and very technical, kind of in the Mayweather sense, but not Mayweather. And then at the same time, he's not a great talker either, so it's like
this motherfucker said he's fighting, he's doing it for the culture. Like, oh, dude, you can't
doing it for the money.
Oh no, I don't know. He ended like on a streak of losses.
Oh yeah, he's lost his last 4 or 5 fights.
Oh fuck.
Back.
Oh god.
Yeah. So.
This is Wilder part 2. Like
I'm excited for that more than this. But
They're gonna take 2 weeks off of Black History Month when these motherfucker loses, man. Damn.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Jamal is so
not the guy
right now. You can hear it.
I didn't know. My interest in that fight is gone now.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was shitty like that.
Yeah, and I think he's pretty old. He's 39. Yeah, it's not good. Sorry.
Well, for what it's worth, it'll be on August 28th. Mayweather, Logan. This weekend. Before we head out of Open Gym, do y'all see that Dame game time 3? The fadeaway jump. Like,
I just read about it in
28
the group chat. Yeah, send it to OT.
Send it to OT.
But Denver looking like they might take care of business in OT. Freaking Austin Rivers of all people really coming through for the Nuggets this postseason.
Okay, this is really unprofessional. But what channel is this game on?
NBA TV.
Oh, they giving the NBA TV game? Damn.
Just like the Wizards and Sixers on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Somebody made a joke about that on Twitter. Said, "Oh, the NBA says, oh, we're having ratings issues. Let's schedule 3 games at the same time."
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a first round thing, right? I guess there's too many.
Probably
games.
Is. Yeah.
Sound like one of them good problems.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep it on TV and get into some theater. We got some good shit on tap here. Okay, a new docuseries on Netflix has just dropped about black food. High on the Hog. This sounds amazing. I actually had it on in the background this morning.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah. I just watching what it was about. Didn't really get too deep into it, but that's why you're here. Give us the review.
Yeah, for sure. So High on the Hog is a Netflix docuseries. It's all about 2 of my favorite things in the world: food and being black. It's the history of black cuisine.
Me too.
Is there a reason why you said being black second?
They're 1 and 1A. Yeah, it's based on a book by a woman named Jessica Harris of the same name. It's called High on the Hog. And what it does is follows the history of black cuisine chronologically, starting in West Africa and making it all the way to Galveston, Texas. So it's 4 episodes. It's a pretty simple watch, but it's so fucking well done. So it starts in Benin, a country in West Africa. it's a country that was colonized by the French. So and it's hosted by a kind of younger black guy. He is culinary trained. He was a sommelier for 10 years. So he meets up in these different places with different people and kind of gets stories about, the history of food. So Benin follows, a lot of food in different villages. There's a village in Benin that's completely on the water. I've never seen anything like it before. Like every family gets 3 boats and you travel around by water. Think of like gondolas in Italy. You travel by boat to do everything. And end up walking at the end of the episode through the basically the trail that slaves took to get to ships, and how, a story about them not, making it. And then the next episode, they go to the Carolinas, the Low Country. So you get a lot of the, cooking whole hogs and, kind of living out in the woods and kind of living off the land type of things. Rice and, crops and all that type of stuff. Next episode, they go to Virginia. So this episode is centered around Thomas Jefferson's slave / personal chef, who he trained very extensively to cook the way he wanted. He actually took his slave to France and got him trained in French cuisine and brought him back. So they talked about Virginia hams and, all sorts of stuff. It's centered around, what is the name of the place? I'm drawing a blank. Down in Charlottesville. It'll come back to me, but they also go further up the Mid-Atlantic into Philadelphia and New York, and you find out about, it's a black man that owned a high-end oyster restaurant, a seafood restaurant, where upstairs he fed like bankers and Wall Street people, but in the basement he was actually housing like, slaves that have like escaped and fled, and kind of housing them until they could go to the next station. And then it wrapped up in Galveston, Texas. As y'all know, Juneteenth is coming up.
Yeah.
So a lot of stories that footage is around the Juneteenth celebrations and parades and cowboy cuisine, and how they made cowboy stew based on all the leftover parts of like the cow, right? And a lot of food that became soul food or black cuisine was centered around things that were discarded by slave owners, parts of the pig and the cow and intestines and things of that nature that other people just couldn't make any use out of. And we took all this, the strife and the ingenuity and made, something really our own in terms of black cuisine. So
are you justifying chitlins right now?
I love chitlins, man.
Yeah.
I love chitlins. Here's the thing about chitlins, real quick. Can't find anybody that makes them anymore.
Oh man. I had a coworker, a woman who apparently her husband hated chitlins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might have been the same woman I talked about before.
Lord, this story, I heard the story before.
Yeah, so yeah, because she was telling us the story. She goes, yeah, when my husband go out of town, like no chitlins. So when he go out of town, I be throwing me some chitlin parties.
Yeah. So my dad's side of my family, they're from Maryland. Like, think of like before anything was fucking built in PG County, where it was just like open land. So I grew up eating pig's feet. I grew up eating chitlins. So when I hear people grossed out about that shit, I'm like, well, it's fine to like not be into it, because if you think about it, it's kind of a revolting thing to eat pig intestines. But it's just delicious, man. But a lot of people just don't they don't cook them anymore. And the last people to cook chitlins in my family were the grandmothers. Grandmother on both sides of my family have since passed away, but they were the only ones who made chitlins. Younger people don't eat them. It's hard to find. People don't like to deal with them because they smell tough. They smell bad. You got to clean them. You got to do them the right way. It's a very precise, like type of, long, like half day type of art to it. But this is what's that?
It's a process.
It's a process. It's definitely a process. But again, these are things that, if you grew up in a certain area, you're accustomed to, eating shit like pork rinds and, pig ears. Like my dad and my dad's side ate all that stuff, right? Greens that were cooking, you put them on in the morning, you eat them after church. Like all that stuff is part of our culture. And you see a lot of these processes and where these things came from in the docuseries. And the place I was thinking of in Virginia is Monticello. So
okay, that's where it's home.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time there, and they actually cooked in, a kitchen that was, basically preserved from back in, slave era. So super interesting. I was glued to it. I happened to find out about it because I saw somebody put a, the little blurb about it on their IG story, and I Googled it, and it's like so many different publications talking about how great the series is. Forbes and, these culinary magazines, they're doing specials on the host and all that stuff. I cried in a few scenes, bro. Like, some of that stuff is really heavy. And just, as a fair warning if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. It was like I said, it's a super easy watch, but you learn a ton. There's equal parts history and food in there, and I followed a couple of people that were in the series on Instagram because I was just so into their story. Right. So highly recommend it.
Which food's backstory kind of connected with you the most, or fat?
I would say the cowboy stew again, because you
eat.
I have never had it before, but I've had parts of things that are in the stew itself. That's where, again, you think about cowboys out, doing steering work. You need something hearty that's going to last you a long time. So that's the stuff that was made up of mainly, again, organ meat from cows, stomach, heart, liver, like all that stuff. And it was cool at that part. They had the guy that was making it. His dad was kind of sitting off to the side. He was a cowboy. He had ended up with some really bad like lung issues. So he was watching his son make the dish and telling him, all right, you need to do this now. Okay, well, take that off and add this. Make sure you put enough water. You know what I mean? And that's again what we see. In kitchens is, I mean, it's not a black thing specifically, but I grew up watching the elders in the kitchen, and you just kind of peek your head in and see, what they doing over there. Like they've been working on that one thing, for long ass time, but the end product is going to be fucking amazing. So that elder watching over the process of people cooking is so intrinsic to our culture and something that is very, it was like it's been passed down. So it was really cool to watch.
What's always interesting to me and what fascinates me about Black culture is, and you talking about the whole food side of it, is to be able to make something so amazing out of nothing. And you're saying like all these amazing foods came out of scraps, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I went to Memphis one time for a week almost, and just seeing the people living there, and it's a lot of poor Black people there. And there's a lot of bars and restaurants that are Black owned, but rundown joints, but fantastic food, fantastic music, because when that stuff is embedded in your culture about certain things, you talk about those ladies that are in the kitchen for hours long. There's no passion involved in what they're doing in that kitchen. They're not making shit. Right. And so for me, that's something that always has touched me so quickly. And I really want to watch this series because when things are rooted from a history, when history kind of, you see how it molds certain cultures and certain ways of life, specifically food, which we all love.
Very educational.
It's very nice to watch.
They even had in one episode, there's a barbecue spot connected to a church, right? I mean, the two of the pillars of the Black community, feeding each other and obviously praise and worship, which again starts in our ancestry and it's been passed down. So I thought that was a really cool thing too. I think that was in Texas, or pretty sure somewhere in the South like that. So you'll enjoy it. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. High on the Hog on Netflix. Don't watch a high. It might fuck you up.
Well, that ruins me right out the gate.
So we're on TV. The Mare of Easttown dropped its season finale on HBO Max. We got a special audio clip from one of the more intense scenes of that show. Oh man, Zane, you've been watching this whole season, right?
Yeah, I finished on Sunday. This Sunday was the series finale, which, by the way, I got to interrupt it. Dame just hit like 3 threes in a row to send it to double overtime. This dude's motherfucking insane. He's insane.
I saw Neil's facial reactions.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Jumping up and down. They didn't even double him. They missed the free throw. They were down 3. Dame came right back, did a crossover spin move, 3.
I didn't realize that Scott Brooks became the Denver Nuggets coach and doesn't realize you need to foul when you're up 3 against Danley and freaking Lillard. Morons. Sheesh, throw them all in detention.
So what is it? What is it? 1:30? Is it? Are we going into second?
1:35
It's
Eastern.
double overtime.
Double overtime.
Crazy.
Oh man.
What's LeBron doing right now?
Nothing. They're still
Oh,
down
okay.
30.
We're down 35. But yeah, Mare of Easttown. So
Sorry,
the
is
series
this
finale.
a bad time thing? Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So Mare of Easttown, I think we got 7 episodes in this one season, so it's a single season show. As far as I'm aware, I'm hoping. Well, I'm thinking this is not going to continue because this storyline wraps up in 7 episodes. I was watching the Mavs game, and then I was like, "Shit, Mare of Easttown finale's on." So I jump over to HBO Max, can't get in. Okay, I don't know what's going on. So I wait about 10:20. Yeah, episode usually starts at 10 o'clock. 10:20, I go in, and nothing's loading. It's just stuck on like the main page of the background, the purple background. So I Google it. HBO Max like crashed, right?
What? Really?
Yeah, which I don't understand because like I don't think like it crashed worse than like Game of Thrones did with this like series finale. Like, and I don't know who the fuck. Like, I know people are watching the show, but it's not like Game of Thrones, like prestige, drama level, 8-season build up. Like,
Right.
come on. So I'm not sure what happened, but eventually I got in about 10:30, and I've been hot and cold on the show. There were a lot of really good episodes. There was a couple of them that were like, okay, whatever, right? But the last episode had kind of ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger in a way. So I was pretty excited for this one. Just to give everyone a recap without spoiling anything, you know, there's 2 kind of simultaneous plot lines that are going on concurrently, simultaneously. One is basically there's this girl's missing in a town. And just to kind of get back to the clip that Abdullah played, I mean, it's kind of cliche in the sense that there's these storylines with every show where there's like a grizzled detective, right, who's like fucked up in the head and dealing with their own personal shit, but they pour themselves into the work. And lately it's been female grizzled detectives, right? So we had Amy Adams and Sharp Objects, which is another fantastic show. And now we have Kate Winslet, who's playing the grizzled detective who's fucked up and like you know, probably hasn't had sex in like 4 years and whatever, you know, whatever things they throw in there. So same thing here. She's this grizzled detective in this small shitty town where everybody's kind of weird and like everyone's having sex with their sister and eating mayonnaise sandwiches and whatever they do. So that's kind of the vibe of the show, and that's what kind of threw me off in the beginning. I know I said this before. It was like there's so many like characters and you can't figure out who the hell who. Like there's like a family of like 3 people named the Johnsons, but then there's like Larry, you know.
You complained about this after the first episode, so you still struggle with that throughout the
I did.
show.
I like they dropped like this crazy like suspenseful, not cliffhanger, but like reveal in like the finale, and then they're like blah 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 blah. They dropped the name, and I was like, who the fuck is that? I had no idea who the person was, and I was like, I don't want to Google it, but I was like, who the fuck are they talking about? Like, that's partly my fault. I probably wasn't paying attention, but like, there's like 3-4 families, and they're so interconnected. Like, this person's this cousins, but then she's married to this guy, and she got a kid with this one and a kid with that one, and it's all like the Rosses, the Johnsons, and the whatever, right? So
House Ross,
a little tough to follow. The finale, it was a good episode. It was suspenseful. There was a lot of twists and turns, and it was well done. I felt like there wasn't like, I mean, you had, like I said, the simultaneous thing with the missing girls in the town, and then there was a murder mystery that kind of unfolds because a murder occurs in the series. So, and you're trying to figure out, are these related? Are they linked? And there's a bunch of different suspects. So they wrapped it up pretty well. I thought this show was either going to be really solid for you or you're going to be blown away by it. For me, it was just solid. The reception from the media and the writers and journalists and kind of fans was that, which I didn't understand, was like, this is the best show that HBO's done since blah, blah, blah. And
really, I haven't heard anybody talk about it. That's what's surprising to me.
I didn't either until I read, like I usually go to Mare of Easttown. I'll type in the show title, and you scroll down, you see like random people on Twitter talking about it, right? You'll see like the random, and this is like, oh, Mare of Easttown is the best TV show of the blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I didn't get that vibe.
Yeah.
So like you said, nobody's really talking about it too. Well, there's other shows I've seen, like Succession. I saw that
which I finished it. I finished today, by the way.
Oh, you did? So we got to hear about that next week.
Yeah, we talk about it next week. Yep.
Yeah. But like Succession, I didn't hear anybody talking about it. My friend told me about it. I watched it. I thought it was the best show I saw in half a decade, right?
Yep.
So, there's that kind of
Same.
vibe, but it's not up there. It's not up to that caliber. I don't think it's better than Sharp Objects either. I thought Sharp Objects was better.
What grade would you give Mare of Easttown?
I give it a B.
Okay.
I give it a B. Yeah,
Terrible
it's good.
grade.
There is a lot of potential for you to really be emotionally invested and torn apart and to really feel it. It just didn't happen for me, but the potential is there just based on the moral of the story and the themes of the story. And it's about forgiveness. It's about dealing with loss. It's about dealing with grief, which everybody can kind of understand, right?
Sure.
And another thing I just thought of is like the biggest problem with these kind of shows is, and the same thing happened with Game of Thrones that really, for me, tore apart Game of Thrones was like, people watch something like this and they don't understand what they're watching it for. It's like, okay, there's a murder mystery, but the show has nothing to do with that, right? Like Game of Thrones, there's nothing about who the fuck is gonna be the person who takes the throne, right? Like that's just an end game, right? Like you're supposed to be paying attention to the trials and tribulations and the struggle and everything that happens on the way there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just, it's about the journey. It's not about, and people on Reddit and all these things are so obsessed. And like you see these threads, it's like, oh my God, you know who I think is the murderer? I think it's this person. And like it's the most outlandish, like stupid shit that would never make any sense within the context or what the direction of the show is going. So that's what a lot of, I think the fascination comes with a show like this is like there's a murder and everyone wants to be right about who did it, right? And everybody wants to do their whole thing. Stephen King actually predicted, don't read his tweet, but he actually predicted before the episode aired who it was, and it was the character.
Wow.
Whatever. I had no idea who the person was.
Wow. All right.
So, but long story short, it's a solid show. It's worth watching. I just think there's nothing on right now, and a lot of people are just kind of latching onto it.
That's that. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious at this point. I might just give it a whirl. 7 episodes, 1 season, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that fits into my
it's up to you.
schedule.
You should really watch Succession first.
Yeah, Succession's.
You should also watch Sopranos first as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're trying to fight that.
Trials and tribulations here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Always. It always just falls back on me. We're not
it
doing
does.
HBO shows.
It fucking does. Yeah.
Shit. I'm scrapping the whole segment, man.
He's gonna do his own voiceover afterwards.
As long as you don't pressure me to watch Friends. I know
no one's pressuring you to watch Friends.
Hey, listen. There you go. There it is.
Could you be any more?
Saw this on the agenda. The last person I assumed threw it on there was Jamal. The first person I assumed threw it on there was Zane. But of course, it ended up being Neil, which is very impressive to me for your young ass to be so absorbed by an old school show. I'll go ahead and let you and Zane get real cozy with each other and tell us your thoughts.
Neil, go ahead, kick it off.
On the Friends reunion.
Yeah, so, like Abdullah said, obviously the show aired from 94 to 2004. I was born in 96, so, I wasn't watching it from the beginning live, but, it was always something that was on, in my family. My mom and my sister watched it all the time. And so I probably watched a lot of the episodes later in the series when they were airing live on NBC. But then they were always reruns on like CW50 channel that we got. So, I've probably seen every episode, 5 to 10 times at this point, and, always loved it. Obviously, major crush on Jennifer Aniston. Like I'm literally, my childhood was the boyhood impersonation of Ross. So I was like, ooh, Jennifer Aniston on TV. All right, let's watch up these episodes.
You must, hey, how many times did you jerk off to the breakup?
Hey, you can pick a number and it'll probably be the over, but that's okay. But
you're like butter down Jennifer Aniston scene.
Yeah, there's some good scenes with Jennifer Aniston, but
Aniston. If you say Aniston one more time,
Aniston.
How do you say it?
Aniston, Jennifer Aniston.
Aniston. Oh man, oh no, how dare I?
Of course, I'm war torn. I'm in forced floorboards. You panicking.
But so they finally did.
Jennifer Aniston panicking.
I'm with Harrison Ford, Jennifer Aniston, and a mannequin.
So they finally did this HBO Max reunion, and it wasn't as good as the Fresh Prince one they did. I thought, I really enjoyed the Fresh Prince reunion that they had a few months ago. But still, just as somebody who's watched Friends so many times, I obviously enjoyed the heck out of it. Seeing them all together. They said it was the first time that all 6 of them were back together, in one room. Since the series finale, 17 years ago. The cicadas are probably like, what? This wasn't just still going on the entire time since we left? But so I enjoyed the, Friends is probably still up there as, easily top 3 show for me, definitely comedy show of all time. So it's great
Top 3,
stuff.
huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
There are not that many shows that are going to be able to beat it. And just even watching it back, random reruns, I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice this before, but it's always nice.
Zane, were you as touched?
I didn't watch it. I'll be honest.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Okay.
And I grew up on Friends. I watched Friends as a kid, a teenager, and I actually this year I rewatched a lot of it. It's a great time pass show. I honestly can't even tell you whether I'd even watch the reunion, because as much as I love the show, because I grew up on it, it's like there's nothing about them that I would want to like. I don't know, like, why am I like, what am I getting out of the reunion? I guess if that makes sense for me personally.
Yeah.
And plus they all look really weird now. I don't like it. I get that
Joey
people are
got
older
fat.
now. Huh?
Joey's become a meme right now.
Matt LeBlanc got fat.
Yeah, he looks bad, man. He's down bad.
I thought David Schwimmer looked really like old as shit, and like I thought Jennifer Aniston's like the Botox has been out of control. So
reunion shows are only good for like reality. Reunion shows are good because they resurface beef and then motherfuckers like come to blows and shit on set.
Yeah, like fucking Puck and David show up and freaking
Real Housewives start fighting and like titty pop out on set.
Yeah,
and, champagne gets spilled.
Which, by the way, they did a reunion show for The Real World New York, right? I haven't watched that either.
Oh
it's
yeah,
on, like,
did it already air?
It's on like Pluto TV. I don't know if it already aired yet, but I'm actually interested in that.
Yeah, but I would think that something like a Friends reunion is too made for TV, too mild.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly the point that I was trying to kind of make, is like it just wouldn't feel organic to me. Like, I haven't seen it, like I said, so maybe I can't judge, but like, yeah, overproduced. I kind of want to see, I want to gain something by watching like inside stories of, so on and so forth, like kind of behind the scenes. I felt like the Fresh Prince had that kind of vibe, because like just
they had the Aunt Viv thing,
seeing Alfonso Ribeiro and seeing Will Smith in the same room. Obviously they've done stuff in the past, but like that cast is like
going through their previous auditions too.
Exactly. It's less fresh in my mind. So seeing them together, I felt like I get a different perspective. So I might check the Friends thing out, but Friends for me is just so saturated. That's another big thing. It's just on all the time. I see it all the time, so I'm just kind of less interested.
If I may,
go ahead.
Point of order. I have never seen an episode of this show, and I can't think of anything less desirable to me to watching an episode of Friends. Respectfully, with all due respect, just a show that just no appeal to me whatsoever. I don't know anybody who's watched it. But here's my challenge to all those our faithful listeners, the millions listening across the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you find a Black person that is a Friends fan, I don't mean like watched a few episodes when they had, the white roommate at the University of Oklahoma. I mean like a Friends fan, like somebody who can like get into plots and tell you storylines and shit like that. We would like to hear from you. So we'll throw it on. Listen, we'll throw it on the Trophy Pod IG story.
Yeah.
We'll take some DM voice recordings or whatever the case might be. But I want to find Black people that watch Friends. I want to know who you are and what the appeal is. So pitch it to us.
I feel like Black people watch Seinfeld, though. Other than you, do you know a lot of Black people that watch Seinfeld?
I know a lot of Black people that watch Seinfeld.
So what's the difference?
I don't know.
We gotta find Charlie Wheeler. Get Charlie Wheeler on the show.
But wasn't Seinfeld more of a kind of groundbreaking, a true show about nothing, like off-brand humor?
I find the difference is that like the concepts in Seinfeld are great, right? Like the minutia, and Friends is just like these 6-7 people who are like, they're just people with quirks, and you're just watching them just
Yeah, I don't see
do
how
random
it's even
shit.
comparable to talk about the two shows. And
Yeah, like they're
concept.
just two very different narratives. Seinfeld
Yeah,
is, quite literally a show about nothing. And I did like the
the whole
producers that they
concept of
included in the
yeah.
Friends reunion. They were like, this is supposed to be about the time where your friends are your family. So
I
that was like,
struggle a lot with like middle of the fairway primetime network TV comedies.
I mean, those are the two biggest ones. I mean, from
Right.
what the late '90s until
early 2000s.
I feel like they're always compared.
I guess, but when you look at based on one individual and the surroundings that he deals with, right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's Seinfeld, and then it's everything that revolves around Seinfeld alone, right?
Yeah.
And the show, every show episode, is preluded by a stand-up bit, right, about a certain aspect of life, whatever he's talking about, right? That's,
Right.
And then the show kind of just tags on from that. The theme of the show is basically that whatever he's joking about at the beginning of the show. Whereas Friends, I'll admit I haven't watched it as loyally as I've watched Seinfeld or as consistently. Friends has always been a show that I've refused to watch like from episode to episode to episode, but every time it's come on in the back or if I'm at a friend's house, I get attached to it and I laugh.
It's easy to watch.
It's
I
easy
watch
to watch.
it way.
and you
I watch it
laugh.
way more than Seinfeld. I think Seinfeld's better.
Did you? Okay. That yeah. I grew up actually from I remember watching the series premiere in '89, and just consistently watched it throughout my entire childhood. Friends, not so much. My sister, I was Friends when my sister started watching it.
Yeah.
In her early teenage years, and then I never took any interest.
Yeah.
But every time it came on, every time she had it on or anyone else had it on, I would actually watch and be engaged
but
and
that's-
laugh. It was good TV. It was good dialogue. It was good. The script, the script writing was great. The characters were obviously funny.
Yeah.
and
Seinfeld
you knew-
requires more attention. Like you have
More
to know what the
attention,
plot is, right?
right,
Like the friends are
exactly.
just fucking sitting around all fucking day in the coffee shop,
Right.
shooting the shit about
And-
whatever the fuck.
And if you notice the criticism of shows like Seinfeld and really humor, it gets the same kind of criticism because people just find it. The biggest criticisms I've heard of Seinfeld is that it's boring. It's
Yeah,
boring.
because they
It's
don't
not funny.
understand.
They don't
yeah,
understand it. They
yeah.
don't understand the nuance.
Right.
Just it's very dry humor about everyday life.
Yeah.
Day-to-day shit that you deal with. There's nothing extraordinary, nothing.
But they're both about white
fictitious.
people problems.
White
You can acknowledge
people
that,
problems,
right?
Right.
That's what I'm
yeah.
trying to.
Yeah, and the Seinfeld's still a little more gritty. A lot more subway scenes, and they live in
Yeah.
a lot more rundown apartments, and
Yeah.
and George is bald, and just
Yeah.
shit like
Well,
that.
George crushes anything on
He
either
crushes
show.
anything. Anyway,
George is the standout star of either
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
His hands
Yeah.
fucking down. He's amazing.
but
amazing.
we definitely got to get around to more of our favorite old school shows. I wanted to push it tonight, but I'm fucking tired of shit. But we'll definitely keep this going, keep this train moving. As more reunions pop up, I don't know who's the boss is next, right?
Oh Lord.
Get it, the boss reunion up here. Get Tony Danza back out. Update on the Blazers before we wrap this up. Looks like the Nuggets pulled it off in double OT, 147-140. Dame at 55.
Dame at 55 on the game tying attempt. He didn't shoot it. He passed to McCollum. McCollum caught it, put his foot back, and stepped out of bounds in the game.
Oh, God.
It's a shitty ending.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
I love McCollum, man, but that was right on time for detention, man. Stepping out of bounds. Fuck. All right. It's time to shit on some people. We really got to do this, man. We got a few perps in here. Fucking Piers Morgan. Man,
Stand that fucker, man.
It's almost 12:30, man, and I hate talking about Piers Morgan.
I hate him
But
too.
obviously,
He's
we
one
have
of these
to.
Brits that has too much influence in the United States. You know what I
Too
mean?
much.
Like, how the fuck did you get like Nigel Farage and like go away, yo?
Stay on your side of the fucking pond, man.
Piers
Come on,
Morgan
man. Yeah.
Facts.
decided to weigh in on Naomi Osaka for pulling out
Yeah.
of the French Open due to her not wanting to do press. Nobody had any issues with it. And May, by the way, was Mental Health Awareness Month. And he decides to weigh in and talk shit about her, calling like, spoiled brat and like also like, fuck you, dude. This is the same guy that got mad when he got called out on his bullshit around the whole royal family thing.
Right.
And stormed
Yeah,
off the
Meghan
set like a
Markle.
bitch.
The same
Right.
shit.
Fucking
It's the
no
same
face
shit.
motherfucker, man.
But the
Preach.
language in this commentary, narcissistic.
But he destroyed
Naomi's-
Ben Shapiro in an argument on YouTube. So we gotta get
Yeah,
it's always that
Sorry, go
weird
ahead.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these fucks got to own the other fuck. You know, like, somebody.
Someone's got to lose.
It's not gonna. Yeah, exactly. Somebody got to lose. It's not gonna end in a tie. But narcissistic Naomi's cynical exploitation of mental health to silence the media. Like, what the fuck? What are you coming up with this shit?
Ridiculous. Yeah, fuck that guy.
And it goes back to some of our previous commentary. We talked about Skip Bayless. We've talked about some other members of the media when they're untouched by something, when they're just looking for that clout. And who the fuck is still paying Piers Morgan to give them commentary?
That's
Who is still out there employing this dude or putting this shit on their publication websites? You know, and has any self-respect? Like, what the fuck?
Online publications like opinion columns and editorial,
Yeah.
the nastiest places on the
Yeah.
internet. Just
Exactly, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the worst unchecked bullshit out there.
Somebody's reading
They
that
just-
shit, though.
They just drum up
Somebody
shit
reading it.
for clicks.
Of course,
They
yeah.
drum up
Yeah.
shit all the time, and that's the
Yeah.
worst kind of outlet.
It's
to
probably the
me.
most read journalism in the fucking country.
It is.
Fucking
It
crazy.
is. That's what
fucked
makes
up.
money. Opinion shit
It's
makes
fucked
money.
up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Dickhead.
So fuck
Shout
you,
out to
Piers
Naomi
Morgan.
Osaka, though. I think
Yeah,
you know
seriously, man.
she's
Oh, yeah,
got to do
yeah.
what she's got to
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
And
You know, she's
that's what
listening.
people need to understand. Hey, she's a big Rui Hachimura fan. She might have listened to Jamal's commentary.
It is. Speaking of,
you go.
well, you got to get into your special podcast appearance, but we'll talk about it another time.
What time is it in Japan right now, Neil?
Yeah, they're listening. It's a little bit after lunchtime over there.
Ain't like an 18-hour difference.
12 and a half or something like that.
2 days.
Oh man.
Next up, the city of Miami. This is heartbreaking, man. Who the city has already been absolutely off the hinges since the COVID restrictions have been eased up. We talked about the madness a few weeks ago on Ocean Drive. I can't remember the period was, but a bunch of countless fights breaking out in restaurants, on the streets. This past weekend, I mean, it was just headline after headline after headline. People opening fire in several locations across the weekend. One ended up with 2 mass shootings, basically. One was a 7-person shooting. 7 people were injured, a few dead. I think 2 died, and one.
Yeah.
30 people over the entire course of the weekend. 20 of them alone at a banquet hall. A heartbreaking scene of a victim's father crashing the police department press conference. Just gut-wrenching shit across. And I love Miami. I've frequented Miami several times. Never really heard about it being this bad. And
Well, we saw a preview of Miami. There was something, I don't know if it was Super Bowl weekend or something months ago before all the COVID restrictions were even lifted, when they were like partially lifted.
yeah.
People were partying in the streets. They had to like the
That's what I'm
cops had to
talking
break
about,
it up. Yeah, the shit got.
yeah.
So we got a preview of how nasty shit was. Yeah. Them
Yeah.
motherfuckers was like wilding back then. So yeah, I think it's like the Miami, one of the Miami sheriff or something like this is basically like a long, like bloody summer. Like he's just been candid about it.
It's just,
Like he knows
it's
shit's gonna be
crazy.
bad. Yeah.
And it's harder to deal with. I don't know if it's harder or if it's easier when the incidents aren't isolated, right? So you could have a random mass shooting. These seem like targeted attacks, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
People running up on groups of people
Yep.
at a banquet hall and just opening fire. None of these culprits have been identified or caught, so they're still out on the loose.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what the police department approach is here. But if the shit gets out of hand, who knows if there ever will be a strategy or an approach to it that's going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So prayers up to Miami. I hope the shit gets better. I want to return. You know, now that COVID's, kind of lighten up the restrictions. Want to start going on vacations. We've been talking about Miami, but if the shit's wilding out like that, I have to reconsider that. And lastly, speaking of going out to restaurants and shit, this video on Twitter going around this afternoon. A group of young women at an outdoor restaurant. This all got caught on video. This all got caught on video by the patrons that were, but decide that they want to walk out on the bill and skip the bill.
Oh,
When one of them realizes, one of them realizes they left their keys behind. So they all come trotting back into the restaurant, into the outdoor area. I get to their table. The keys are gone, obviously, right? The waitress picks up the keys along with the checks. So you can see the waitress come running back. Oh, you left your keys? What about the bill? Right? And they start fronting like they were going to the bathroom. They come back down.
It brings back so many memories of like seeing girls out in their early 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're probably sleeping 4 to a room. You know, like just enough to kind of like fucking scrape by. And you know, you at brunch or whatever, or your lunch or dinner, and you know, you start getting a little tipsy and you lose track of the bill, and that shit comes and like the gratuity's already tacked on plus tax. And next thing you know, you and like 3 other people looking like a $500 bill, and y'all motherfuckers trying to like you're trying to sober up to like, you know, do the math and shit. That's probably what happened. But you're definitely a dumbass if you're trying to dine and dash. Like we're not doing that.
Yeah. And the dudes that were, I mean, they were just straight cracking up on them.
Yeah, that shit was
The
hilarious.
dudes that were recording them looked like they were older dudes because one of them was rocking the goggles on his forehead, whole Wu-Tang Shaolin style goggles. Got the ghost face.
The Mike Geronimo goggles.
Oh my god, the Mike Geronimo goggles. Oh, what a name drop. I love Mike Geronimo, man. Mike Geronimo, that was one of my sleepers, one of my hip hop sleepers. So that's it, man. That's a wrap for Detention. We're gonna close it on that note. It's been fun again. Stop walking out on your bill, man, and do the calculations, man. They got tip calculators, kind of shit. Yeah. All right. So take care of that. Fuck Piers Morgan. Wizards in 7. All right, we calling it right now, right? Wizards in 7.
Right, from your mouth to God's ears. Okay.
Oh my god. Just want to speak it into existence. That's a wrap, man. Jamal, Neil, myself, I'm Abdullah, Zain Zaidi. Holla.